Here we are. Hey, everyone. Good to be back. I'm T. Krulos.
I'm Heidi Erickson.
All right, Heidi, how was your summer vacation?
Oh, it was great. I went to camp and we did some kayaking and we sang Kumbaya. Nope, that's not true. It was good. It was really, really good. We've been doing a lot of stuff for the paranormal conference, and I've been doing a bunch of stuff for Wendigo Fest as well. It's happening up in Manitowoc, so mostly I was keeping busy with that. I did go to the Wisconsin Dells. I went to Paul Bunyan's Cook Shack Experience.
Nice.
It was everything that you would hope that it
Yeah.
would be.
Oh,
Absolutely fantastic flapjacks. What did you do on your summer vacation, T?
oh I worked a lot, I think, for the
Yeah.
most part. Yesterday, I went for a nice walk on Labor Day
Oh, that's
through the,
lovely.
the forest. Um, but one thing that I've done during our time off is notice that there is no shortage of weird news topics to talk about.
Never stops.
They've really built up. We got a lot to talk about today. So, why don't we start with this kind of unusual story? And it's about a lawyer, and this lawyer, John Pierce.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the past, he's represented Kyle Rittenhouse, which of course is the guy who shot 3 people in Kenosha. He killed 2 of them. He
Yeah.
was also representing 17 criminal defendants in the Capitol riot cases, the insurrection on January 6th, also known as the coup d'etat. But here's the thing, he seems to have disappeared. Some of his other clients, by the way, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, he has disappeared. So he was supposed to be representing one of his clients, and he didn't show up to the case. There was some sort of aide showed up, and he said that he had been in an accident and was in the hospital. But then a few days later, he had a different story. He said that this guy had actually contracted COVID-19. He was an anti-vaxxer lawyer, and so he had contracted COVID and was on a ventilator, he said. But
Oh,
then at the next trial hearing, he had a different story and said, oh, he couldn't show up today because he doesn't have COVID, but he's very ill and can't make it to the courtroom. So now it's been like 11 days since anyone has seen this guy.
yeah.
What the hell happened to him? There's a lot of possibilities, I think. If you're kind of a shady lawyer like this, maybe the QAnon people got him and threw him off a cliff or something. Or maybe he took everyone's money and decided that he was heading to Bermuda
Oh, I
or
hope
something
that's
like
it.
that.
I hope
Um,
that's it. I hope this
yeah.
guy was like, absolutely, you scumbags, give me all your money, and is currently in Atlantic City with 3 showgirls just up to his knees in ham and cheese sandwiches and blow. I really hope that's what's happening. Bless you, sir. He's the hero we all needed. I mean, I guess so. He was okay. So he was representing a bunch of like pretty shady characters,
Yeah.
which is not uncommon for lawyers. But he was
Yeah.
specifically representing like these conspiracy theory QAnon type assholes, right? And
Yeah. Absolutely.
now his assistant or whatever his aide was
Yeah.
covering for him because he is this guy under suspicion, or was he just like, I was just covering for my boss, I didn't know where he'd fucked off to? Like,
I think that he's covering for this guy, is what it
okay,
sounds like.
okay, dude, if he ends up like, if they find him in like a dumpster or under a mattress or something, like we're never gonna fucking hear the end of it from those QAnon guys. They're absolutely gonna insist that someone took his adrenal glands or whatever, or I really hope this man's okay because I'm a nice person who cares about people or whatever, but also because we will just never get these fucking guys to shut up if something bad happens to him. We'll never hear the end of it. Christ almighty. But he
Yeah.
was, even before he was representing those people though, he was like, even before everything went crazy, he was kind of a like wacky right-wing anti-vax, anti-mask, like all that shit, right? Like
Yeah, definitely. He was. I know he was like anti-vax for sure. So effectively, all the cases that he had were at a standstill. So I don't know if this would be a strategy too, where he's just like trying to,
Oh, sure.
evade the legal process.
You can't lose if you're not there. Am I right?
Right.
Am I
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. But what if? But he's an anti-vaxxer. He's probably like in the bathroom of some fucking Denny's somewhere, having just shat himself to death on a horse dewormer.
Oh yeah, yes. So that's the other big story that kind of blew up while we were taking a little bit of a break there. Everyone's going crazy on the ivermectin. Ivermectin? That's how you pronounce it, I think.
I think that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So here's the question, and I know you know this because I really suspect that you get text messages in the middle of the night from crazy people who are like, "Hey, my mom just told me that you can fix COVID with horse dewormer." Right? You do, don't you?
I wouldn't say that, but
You do.
I did get a very strange phone call yesterday from a guy who claims that he is a time traveler, and he's concerned that he wanted to know if I took the vaccine. And I was like, yeah, I did, right away. And he was like, that was a big mistake.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And let me tell you all about it.
If he was a time traveler, first of all, wouldn't he know if he would taken the vaccine, T?
Right.
How time travel works.
He could have gone back in time and stopped me from taking it. Right.
You would think so. Like, thanks a lot, Doug, or whatever. I can't wait to hear all about it. I'm sure you'll tell us all about it in your upcoming book. I don't want any spoilers, but I am curious to hear. However, whatever the side effects of, I mean, it's knock on wood, right? It's so weird when the two people you're trying to like go between trusting are the government, who are notoriously trustworthy, and people who think that you should drink bleach and take horse dewormer. Like, those are our options. Like, it's just so sad. We need a third option. So, do you know where the whole we should take horse dewormer for this? Because we know where the Clorox bleach thing came from. Donald Trump literally made a
Trump
about
himself.
drinking bleach. Where did the horse dewormer thing come from? Because it always starts someplace little.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know where it started, only that it caught on very quickly to the point where you have livestock stores that are putting up signs telling people that their products are intended for horses.
Yeah.
And that you can't. There was one that even said that they would not sell their product to someone unless they provide a selfie of them and their horse. So
okay, just so you know, I have a selfie of myself and several horses. So
you're in.
Anybody who wants to shit themselves for the low cost of $500, I'm happy to go get you some. I did read a thing that so the CDC and the FDA were responding to these because there's whole Facebook groups set up now for people who are just super into shitting themselves, I guess. But they were responding where they were like, listen, we actually are studying this drug as a treatment for COVID-19 because of its various properties, but it is no way like cleared for human usage. And
Right.
Even if it was, you are taking it at a dosage that is meant for a horse.
You're right. Oh God. So
Like-
I don't know where it started. I'm sure it started on some corner of the internet. And
Right.
probably because, like you say, there was some grain of truth to it. Someone was probably like, they're studying this drug because it could lead to a path where you would find a cure. But the problem really began because people like Joe Rogan, who has one of the most popular podcasts in the world, and Alex Jones, our old buddy, he has millions of followers too. And these guys were really hyping it up. Alex Jones took some of the drug live during his show. And, they have a powerful voice because they have so many followers. So you're starting to see people who are going to hospitals because they're overdosing on this shit.
Yeah, I saw an article today that in Oklahoma, they were having difficulties, in addition to being overwhelmed by people who actually have COVID-19, who have the Delta variant predominantly.
Yeah.
There's so many people in the hospital ODing on this horse dewormer that there was a guy who got shot who had to wait outside, like in the parking lot for like 4 hours waiting for someone to come and see him because the place was overwhelmed by idiots pooping themselves. Like,
Right.
I am curious about it because, like, okay, like the hydroxychloroquine thing,
Yeah.
that had a nugget of truth in it too. And the place that
Yeah.
that came from is when they were first studying COVID, they thought it was behaving a little bit like malaria and that they were somehow related to each other. Quinine is the treatment for malaria. Like that's what you take to prevent malaria. So people were like, oh, this is hydroxy is water. Hydroxy. It's just a lot of quinine and water. It's like tonic water essentially. Like get a lime and some gin, hydric, whatever. But that obviously isn't going to prevent COVID because if it would, they would give us that simple answer. I think people think they want to believe that there's a simple, easy answer out there and that the government is deliberately keeping it from us because COVID is this whole conspiracy designed to ruin our days. And I know that there's a bigger conspiracy where there's like FEMA death camps and there's like not just the
Yeah.
microchipping,
Everything.
the rise of the new world order. Like they really think this is the beginning of the end of the world. And if they can grasp onto any little bitty thing, that is what they will do and that is what they will take. And it's so funny to me because there is a simple answer. The simple answer is you go get a vaccine. It's free.
Right.
You go get it. It's literally, you don't have to do anything but sit there and let some nice lady in a mask poke you in the arm. It's the easiest shit in the universe, and they just cannot accept it.
It's not only free, but in some cases, like here during Wisconsin State Fair, you could get a free cream puff if you got a vaccine. There's programs that are offering
Right.
people a free beer, $100. Some places have a
Dude.
promotion.
Dude, I
It's like,
seriously want to just go around with my vaccine card and just go get all the free shit. I want my cream puff. I want my free beer. I want that bratwurst. Somebody was offering a free fish fry. The city of Milwaukee was offering $100. $100. I was like, I'll take the $100. That sounds great because I got my shot the second I could get that shit. Believe that. Believe that. I was like, yeah, okay, maybe this won't work out great, but it's got to be better than dying on a ventilator. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Come on.
people are like, no, I don't want the cream puff. I want the horse paste instead.
Right. I mean, I don't know. You don't know, T. Maybe that shit is delicious. You've never tried it. Maybe it's better than a cream puff. I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt it's better than a cream puff, but whatever. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Let's keep an eye on that. Do you ever just want to fuck with these people? Do you ever want to just suggest that like
Well,
stick
someone
pull up your butt or whatever is the cure and just to see what happens?
someone like posted an article or something. I don't know where this is from, but it showed like a picture of a snake, and it said that there was a certain type of poisonous Brazilian snake where
Yeah.
the venom was a possible cure for COVID. I was like, oh, great. Here comes the people who are jumping into snake tanks and letting them bite up. I can just see it already. Massive wave of people dying from snake venom.
I mean, go ahead, you guys.
It's not far-fetched. It could happen.
Go ahead. That's fine. Like if it was, I just wish it was just these people. If the stuff they were doing wasn't affecting other people, if it wasn't about their kids or being alone in an elevator with these petri dishes, I would just be like, you know what? Let me buy you a ticket to Brazil. I double dog dare you. I will keep the cream puffs and you can go to Brazil and jump in with the snakes. I just want to see what happens. Wouldn't we feel stupid though, T, if all these people taking all of this, like, to be fair, have you heard that anybody who's pooped themselves on a horse dewormer has gotten COVID? No, you haven't. Have you? So maybe this
true.
on us may cause side effects, including pooping yourself, but no COVID.
Mm. Okay, well, speaking about snake handlers, we've got 3 interesting stories here that are related to God and or Satan. So, if you're uncomfortable about these topics, then too bad, because because we're going in. Oh man, where to even start? Let's start with this group that I joined, and let me tell you, I really regret it. Christians Against Dinosaurs. I saw an article.
Wait, let me just jump to the dinosaurs win, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Here's this. Well, I'll tell you what's going on with this group in just a second. What caught my attention was an article. It turned out to be an old article from last year.
Yeah.
But it was about how this group, Christians Against Dinosaurs, had complained about a McDonald's restaurant that's near Tucson, Arizona, and they have a giant statue of a dinosaur outside of the restaurant. So this group complained about it, that these guys were, for one thing, here's their derogatory term. He said that these were supporting dinophiles. Dinophiles are people that believe that dinosaurs existed, like a total chump, and are supporting the dino lie that is being propagated by Big Paleo, the sinister force behind all this. So I was curious because this to me sounds like it's a joke. So I joined the group, which has like 20,000 members.
My God.
And I would say a lot of those people were there for the same reason as me.
Oh, that's a relief.
But I can't tell. There's a conspiracy called birds are fake or birds aren't real.
Yeah.
And that was started as a joke by somebody. However, because some people will believe anything that they read on the internet, there are people that believe in that theory, even though it started as a hoax or a joke.
Yeah.
And I kind of get a similar feeling about this group. I think they were trying to it was a group of people that know each other, and they were sort of doing a LARP almost, where they were pretending to be kooky conservatives that think that believing in dinosaurs is a sin. But there are people who legit don't believe that dinosaurs are real. And so I think they intersected, and now you have this sort of mishmash of people who are faking and are trolls and people who are really serious about it.
You know what's so crazy to me about it, T? Okay, so there's that guy who built that whole creationism museum. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Like an arc or whatever.
Yeah, Noah's Ark experience.
Way to follow your dreams. Like the whole building is shaped like an arc. And I think the county or the state that it's in gave him some ridiculous amount of money to build this place too. And inside you can definitely go in. And his whole thing, right, is that the world is 6,000 years old and that there totally were dinosaurs, but that human beings were there with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of place where you can see like the awesome, incomparable sight of a giant fiberglass Jesus riding an even gianter fiberglass brontosaurus, which let me tell you, fan-fucking-tastic. I want to be like, I would pay to go to that place just to sit on that dinosaur in front of the fiberglass Jesus and just drop a peace sign.
Yeah. The dude's name is that you're talking about, Ken Ham.
There you go.
He leads this Young Earth church. He's created. It's called the Ark Encounter. It's in Kentucky, I'm pretty sure. Okay, and you will see that his belief is that they brought dinosaurs onto the Ark with them.
Yes.
What a shit show that must have been.
Right? How did they do that? I don't even like the logistics alone. What did they feed those dinosaurs? I don't understand. They had a T-Rex on that. That doesn't make any sense. It's okay. You'll find with things like that the logistics are always like way down at because they just did, because it's a miracle, because God said there would be T-Rexes there. So these guys obviously do believe that there were dinosaurs and that the dinosaurs were on the ark and we were there and Jesus, yeehaw. The people who don't believe in dinosaurs, what do they think? They think that those things were never found at all. They think dinosaurs are something else.
They think of it in a very similar way that flat earthers think of space exploration / NASA, in that dinosaur bones were fabricated and that they pretend to discover them so they could make big money, big bucks, selling these skeletons to museums and, selling dinosaur toys and, eventually movies and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's so funny because it's like, oh, we're going to make some quick money. All we have to do is set up an entirely fake expedition out in the desert where we're going to be toiling under the desert sun digging. And then we'll pull these huge skeletons out, assemble them, and then sell it to a museum. I'm like, doesn't seem like the payoff is worth the hustle,
Yeah, I'll say this. I firmly believe that science does not know even a fraction of the true nature of the universe or the world we live in. But I do know that it's expensive. Science is expensive. And for all the places that they may have gotten things wrong, they're not getting it wrong in their pocketbooks. Like, scientists spend all of their time writing for grants and scrambling for dollars, trying to get money and equipment and personnel to go dig out in the desert and dig these bones up. And the return on that is really, really low. How many people do you think joined this group just for the shit of it and were there for however long? And now we're like, what if there are no dinosaurs?
That might be. The thing that I saw very commonly was I saw a lot of people making some pretty sick burns, and were obviously there because they wanted to troll the Christians against dinosaurs. But I do think that some of the moderators in that group are like playing a hoax on people because their wording, it was just a little bit too much, a little bit too over the top sometimes. So I don't know what's going on in that group. I would encourage, if you want to go down a rabbit hole and be like, what the fuck for hours, definitely join Christians Against Dinosaurs, and you can tell us what you think is going on, because I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I thought this was hilarious, by the way. Ken Ham, the young Earth dude who built the Ark Encounter in Kentucky, I was researching flat earthers, who I just mentioned, and I found this article in which Ken Ham was like, these people are just ridiculous. I was like, whoa, you gotta be low when Ken Ham, the guy with Jesus riding a dinosaur, says that you're ridiculous.
See, that's the thing, though, and that's how people can get away with perpetrating like ridiculous notions like that. What if Ken Ham is the most level-headed person in the world in every other aspect of his life? What if all of his underwear is ironed and arranged by day of the week? What if he's got a perfect credit score? What if Ken Ham has his shit together so that when he came to people and was like, the thing about dinosaurs is we used to ride them. And, like, people are like, Ken, really? And they had to stop and be like, I don't know. Ken's the head of the PTA. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because like no one's 100% batshit, right? Nobody's 100%. Otherwise, you couldn't get out of bed in the morning. You wouldn't be able to like figure out your business. Yeah. Most people who entertain these delusions, it starts out little and small. Like the people in that group, the people in the Christians Against Dinosaurs group right now. If the moderators were to pull out and be like, JK, you guys.
Yeah. No. I mean, and the other thing is they're kicking out people out of the group that are making fun of making fun of their beliefs. But again, are they kicking people out because they legitimately believe that, or is this part of like their con that they're playing?
Right. I don't know. That's the thing. The question is, if they pulled out right now and said this is a con, the people who were in that group would be like, no, it isn't.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
too late. Once an idea has legs, it doesn't matter who started it anymore. It becomes its own thing. And
Yeah.
like you can't stop it, which is why you have to be
Right.
careful, not just making up meme stuff. Like we can't
Right.
just go and be like, hey, you guys, we figured out that if you stick 4 whole pickles up your butt, you'll never get COVID and you'll be 10 points smarter than you were yesterday.
Right.
Because
And
once
people
you
will
do
do it.
that, people will do it. And if you're like, we were just kidding, they'll be like, but it works. I'm so much smarter than I was yesterday. And I still don't have COVID. So you're just part of big pickle. I don't know, whatever.
They'll do it in a heartbeat. And I mean, that would be funny, but the stuff that's scary is the stuff that's like people are like, hey, maybe we should try snake venom, and stuff like that. It's like, well, people are gonna die over this
Yeah.
misinformation or hoax or whatever it is.
I know it's so sad. Like you could have just died from not getting vaccinated, but now you're going to die from not getting vaccinated and plus also snakes. Dude, like why? Why do you got to crank up the stupid all the way to 50, 100? Like it's not necessary. Just chill out. You're doing too much. You're doing too much, you guys. Wow. Gosh, that's crazy. I
Yeah.
remember like the religious folks are just getting out of control. Okay. I respect anybody's right to have any kind of religion they want forever and ever. Amen. I'm not here to judge anybody. I have an altar in my house right now to a God that's just a guy with horns and a pipe. That's ridiculous. And I'm aware of that. And I'm not judging other people. But people are getting carried away. They're getting carried away with religious stuff because that's got to be the basis of the dinosaurs aren't real thing, right? Like that's got to be the same as that creationist, like young earth people where they're like, God said,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, they think dinosaur fossils and bones are a trick. It's either a trick by the devil himself,
Sure.
or it's a trick of the devil working through
Big
greedy
paleo.
people.
Right.
Big Paleo. My favorite villain ever. Big Paleo.
And that's the basis of a lot of the anti-vax stuff too. I've literally seen people post things like Jesus is my vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Like if God wants me to get sick, then I'll get sick. And I'm like, that's not, I mean, have you met your God? Things happen all the time to people. Like that's not how it works. That's not how.
Anti-vaxxers have the CDC as an enemy. Okay. Flat earthers, it's NASA. They say that they're fabricating everything just so they can make money. So they sit around and Photoshop. They sit around their ass and Photoshop planets all day. That's all they do.
Right.
And Christians against dinosaurs, big paleo. In it just for the money, the greed, and because they're evil and they love Satan.
There's so many easier ways to con people. Like, I don't know. I feel like if Satan was going to con people, he wouldn't be doing it through big paleo, right? Like I feel like there would be like some heavy metal involved and maybe titties. So, I don't know. Satan just has more style than that. That just feel like what the dinosaurs really? That's some after school stuff. I don't think Satan would bother, honestly. But okay, whatever, fine. Satan and Big Paleo have tricked us into believing that there are dinosaurs. They also tricked Ken Ham, and we all know how rational he is. So obviously this is problematic. Okay, so that happened. That's a real thing that happened. By the way, thank you for once again being our intrepid explorer. The land of just what the fuck is this? Like, good job.
No, it was really a head scratcher because at first I was like, oh shit, these people are serious, because I saw some posts that seemed pretty serious, and then I was kind of like, I don't know, I think that this is like a joke that went too far and got out of control, but I'm not sure. I think, like I say, I think it might be a mix. I'm still in the group. I'm gonna see how long I can stand seeing that pop up into my feed before I'm like, it's time for me to get out of here. But I'm in for now until they hear this podcast and then kick me out.
Here are some things I want you to ask the dinosaur people.
Yeah, I do want to ask some questions. I'll ask questions until I get kicked out.
I want I want you to present the idea, the possibility that Barney the dinosaur is also an arm of Big Paleo
Right.
designed to bring children into Satan. I would like you to present
Yeah,
that notion.
and brainwashing children through that earworm of a theme song.
Yeah, 100%. Because
Right.
I've had.
He's a
You saw there's a video game that's a really popular horror video game where there's a mod now where you can turn all the zombie monsters into Barney the dinosaur. They come after you and like
that's
eat your
frightening.
face. I know Barney is legitimately frightening. Let's go for the real villains here, okay? It's not about Big Paleo. It's about Big Purple Barney the dinosaur. I'm gonna
Big
think
Pit.
some more.
That's gonna be my my rap name, by the way. Big Paleo. I'm gonna come out and rap about dinosaurs.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, cool. Let's keep
All
an
right.
eye on that story for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about keeping with our theme of the devil here? This story, I just love. I fucking love the British tabloids. They just there's no shame.
Oh,
There's no shame.
they're great.
Remember last podcast, or maybe it was one of the last podcasts we did last season. We talked about the great headline about the fries in arse perv
Oh
who
yeah,
had seagulls eating French fries out of his butt, apparently.
that guy did
So,
nothing wrong. He was just minding his business. Wasn't hurting nobody.
so this story comes from the Daily Star, which is one of your publications that you can find on Tabloid Row there in London. And the headline is, Priest claims evil demons have figured out how to send threatening text messages.
Ooh.
What do you think? Is that possible? Is
I
it
mean,
probable?
here's the thing about reality. If anything is possible, then everything is possible. If there are demons, sure, why not? Text messages sliding up into your DMs. They're going to put messages in fucking fortune cookies. Like, if there's demons, they can do whatever they want, right? Like, I don't know, toast on the side of your toast. You're going to get messages in your alphabet soup. I don't know. I think, sure, why not? I think probably not, though. Did this guy have threatening text messages that he had received?
Well, they interviewed an exorcist for this article, priest
Sure.
Stephen Rossetti, but he is not from the Vatican. He operates in Washington, D.C., where he says that he and his team perform up to 20 exorcisms a week. Washington, D.C. makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And he has written a book called Diary of an American Exorcist, in which he talks about this problem. He says that he's seen text messages that say things like one said, "Her torments start now, priest. All night we will make her bleed." And another one says, "We're glad she's away from you now." But
I mean, I've been in some pretty rowdy, like, BDSM group chat, and I gotta say that's not even that interesting as threatening text messages go. I can think of at least one, like, Quick Trip clerk who can get way more creative with his demonic text messaging, first of all. So step it up, demons. It's like you're not even trying. Also, though, like, I don't know. Like, we were talking about this, I know, at one point last season where we were like, you can't discount anything that we have, anything that a human being creates. If anything can be manipulated by otherworldly paranormal forces, like a Ouija board. A Ouija board's just a piece of cardboard. We made it. We printed it. It's a game. It was invented by somebody, right? Parker Brothers sells it. They own the patent on it. Does that mean it's a thing that has absolutely no power, and anybody who had a bad experience with a Ouija board was just experiencing a hallucination? Maybe, or maybe not. Reality is tricksy and slippery, and like, who even fucking knows? So I guess it's possible. It doesn't mean I think Father Rosati, who's somehow not, how are you a priest who's not connected to the Vatican?
Well, maybe he is, and he was sent over to Washington, D.C. because they were they were tired of him hanging around the Vatican.
Right.
But but it just says that he is in Washington D.C. It doesn't say where he originated from.
Do you think
Because
Washington, D.C. is lousy with demons? Do you think there's way more demons there than there are in other places? Or is that like the equivalent of sending somebody to like an oil field in Alaska to do car sales? They're like, why don't you just go to Washington? Like, fuck off.
I mean, the comedy bit in me wants to say that Washington D.C. is ripe with demons running around, just because there's so many bad things that happen within that city. But I don't know.
I guess it just depends on how scared you are of clowns or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
it's mostly clown.
I mean 20 exorcisms a week. That's
What?
yeah, that's what it
A
said.
week?
Yeah, it says that this guy and his team perform 20 exorcisms a week in Washington D.C.
20 extras. There is no fucking way that anybody is performing more exorcisms in a week than cups of coffee I have in the same amount of time. That's ridiculous. It's not real. Like, is this like 20-minute in and out exorcisms? This is like get your parking validated exorcisms? That's crazy. I thought exorcisms were supposed to take like days and days and nights and like, right? Like, I thought that's how it worked.
Or yeah, I mean, again, this is the reporting of the Daily Star, so I'm sure like maybe he mentioned the number 20 and it had nothing to do with exorcisms, and they're like, I'm gonna string this together. I'm not even listening to you. I'm just writing down whatever I think will look good in print. So,
well, I think we should call Father Rosati, and
yeah,
I think that we
we'll
should
get him on the podcast.
Oh my God, could we? That'd be so great. I
Yeah.
promise to be very respectful. I have some very pointed questions for Father Rosati.
Oh, I got a good idea, actually. We'll tell him he's going to be on the podcast, but we'll say we need his phone number as a backup in case the internet crashes. And then we'll get someone to start texting him,
I'll plug him right into that BDSM group chat.
Right.
I'll light his ass up.
We're coming for you.
Are you coming for us?
Oh, dear.
Oh, Father Rosati, you don't know what you're in for. Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one more story in this line of thinking, I guess, is the way you put.
Sure.
So, I mean, we're joking a lot, but obviously there's a very fucked up situation in Texas.
Yeah.
Which is shocking. It's very disturbing. And I don't know too much about this, is all I'm going to preface this, but a news item that popped up was that this issue of abortion in Texas is being addressed by the Satanic Temple.
It is being addressed by the Satanic Temple. I just like you guys to know that T and I have the kind of relationship where I'm like, I want to talk about the Satanic Temple, and T can be like, I've already done so much Satanism this week. Be like, tell me more. A real conversation we really had like an hour ago. Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here, and there's a lot of different, there's a history behind this group, and there's a history happening right now with this group.
Yeah.
And I'm just fully admitting that I'm just not knowledgeable about what all that is. So, but you've read about it, and I'm very curious because it's an interesting story. So I'd like to know more.
Those of you who are following us, what did we decide that our fans are called? Our loyal and loving fans? Are they just? We had a name for them. I don't know. You guys should vote. What do you want to be called? People who?
Yeah, we gotta open the poll on that one.
Yeah, I think so, because we could just call you weirdos, but like that seems like a little bit too much of the Captain Obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Low
hanging fruit. You guys work it out amongst yourselves. We discussed, I think it was the end of season 1. We were talking about the Satanic Panic, actually.
Yeah, right.
And part of what I brought up about the Satanic Temple is that they actually have a subpart of their group that is specifically there to advocate for people who have been the victims of essentially manipulative psychiatric practices where people have put people under hypnosis and used the power of suggestion to convince people that things that didn't happen actually did happen. Because there was a period in the 80s where people went to jail for a long, long time because they convinced mostly little children that they had been abused by sexual means in a satanic cult. But that never happened. They proved conclusively that never happened. And this gray faction is what is called part of the Satanic Temple. And I follow with the Satanic Temple mostly because I think it's absurd, and I love the irony and the use of malicious compliance that the Satanic Temple really likes to apply towards like social issues and political issues. For instance, right now in Texas has just put into law, codified into law, the most restrictive abortion ban in the country. In addition to putting this very restrictive abortion ban in place, it's also it's so much trying to make it so that if a person has an abortion, they can get reported, like their neighbors can report them for having an abortion, for having left the state and having an abortion and coming back. They can get in trouble when they come back to Texas for something that happened in another state, which, first of all, I don't even know how that works. Georgia actually has a similar law in that place. Obviously, reproductive rights activists are just beyond the beyondo with this because it's just ridiculous and over the top. The Satanic Temple, which is not a church, it's very specifically not a church. It is an atheistic organization that uses the metaphor of Satan as this character who was against the authority of God to be like, nope, we make our own choices. We do not live in a theocracy. People can't make laws in this country based on the Bible or any other holy book. They're very about the autonomy of a person's body. They're against child abuse. They're against any form of sexual abuse, and they're against things like abortion restrictions, which they say will violate the bodily autonomy of the person who is carrying the fetus. So they're using this malicious compliance to be like, we're a religion. We're a religion. We're not a theistic religion, but we are a religion. And abortion is a right of our religion. It's a religious act. And ergo, you cannot tell us that we can't have one because you would then be infringing on our religious freedom. So they're very, very specifically, especially when you're working against a Republican-led, incredibly Bible thumping, very serious, viciously evangelical Christian group. That is a great fuck you to those people to be like, well, what about my religious beliefs, guys? What do you think about those guys? Can't do it. Can't fuck with it. Can't mess with it. And they actually are getting some traction with this. Even when, and they've brought many lawsuits, the Satanic Temple has brought many lawsuits, even where they have not succeeded in their lawsuits, and they haven't succeeded in many, they bring attention to these things, and they give people a place to go and be like, I need someone to advocate for me. And at least there's someone there advocating for them. And they are, essentially a big part of this is theater. Absolutely 100% a theater of the absurd. But the thing about it is that's how things get done a lot of times. Like popular culture, Weird Al Yankovic, there's so many moments where artists and especially comedians and satirists have made a point and made a spectacle of themselves in ways that ultimately ended up changing society. So in that way, the Satanic Temple is getting some shit done. And that's fascinating to me and interesting. And there's got to be a part of everybody who would just really love to see a bunch of people in black hoods and big giant piercings and Megadeth t-shirts and huge ridiculous silver jewelry and spiky collars just completely walk into a courthouse and be like, fuck you guys, hail Satan, and peace out, and have won. There's something about that that is reassuring and satisfying.
Yeah.
I would say that the Satanic Temple is not a perfect place. It's run by people. It was created by people. And the people that it's run and created by are not infallible humans. There's some problems there. There's some problematic things there. I would definitely recommend anybody who, because they're getting very popular. There's memes all over the place about the Satanic Temple taking on specifically the Texas legislature. And that's great. That's great. But I threw a lot of support behind the Satanic Temple until I learned a little bit more about the people who ran it and created it. And I would encourage everyone to do a little research on that. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to delve any deeper into that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to at least talk about what they're doing in Texas. Like I told you before we started the show, definitely a topic that I'm interested in, and we can maybe do more of a deep dive into in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm also pretty sure this is not the last that we're going to hear about this topic.
No, I wouldn't think so, because the membership in the Satanic Temple in the last 2 years has increased by something outrageous, like 1,000%. Like they're growing at astronomical rates. And I think a lot of people joined the Satanic temple as a joke, as a heavy metal fuck you mom kind of I'm a member of the Satanic Temple thing. And slowly it kind of became a thing. It's super popular with libertarians, and there's a whole intersection of that as well. Like, it's interesting. And it's hard to look at people who are like, but Satan is with big paleo and NASA and be like, that's fucking stupid, buddy. And then also understand that there's a group of people who are very politically active who very purposefully model themselves after the big villain in the Bible. So I can understand where some people's baseline for reality gets a little fucky wucky, because that's real. Lucian Greaves, who runs that place, has 2 mismatched eyes, only ever wears black and an upside down cross. He deliberately looks the part. He looks like somebody who worships the devil, and that's the point. And it's hard to look at grandma and be like, don't be ridiculous, when she's like, look at this fucking guy. Because you have to be like, yeah, I guess you're right.
So Shane has left several comments. Sorry, Shane, that we didn't get to these because we've been in conversation. But you can join the Tease Weird Week Facebook group, by the way, and you can see our live videos and read the comments and participate in the comments. This is Shane's idea for Tease Weird Week fans, Brits, tea drinkers. We're gonna have to open a poll and get a few options out there and see what the consensus is.
Sure.
Okay, well, time flies. Like I said, we had a lot of stories lined up because we took a break for a few weeks there, and so the weird hits just kept on coming, and we weren't there to keep up with it. But I think we got time. We can do one more quick story. This is a interesting headline, and it says parents must pay $30,441 for getting rid of son's porn collection.
Dang.
This happened in Michigan, Grand Haven, Michigan. And he had left their home for 10 months. And during that time, they threw out his porn collection, which included over 2,000 videos, films, and magazines.
2,000?
Yeah.
2,000.
Yeah. For a total of $30,000 worth of materials. So I think, if you want to have a porn collection like that, then you have to move out of mom and dad's house.
I think that's fair. Also, if there was 2,000 different pieces and it was worth $30,000, that's an average of $15 a piece, which is too much money to pay for a porn magazine. And also, porn is free on the internet, buddy. You don't need to try that fucking hard. And that would be my argument. Also, I mean, okay, sad that mom took away your best porno mag, a la the Beastie Boys.
Nice. Yeah, love it.
Love it.
Nice.
But maybe you shouldn't have left it under your bed then. I would, if I had a massive porn collection, regardless of what it was worth monetarily, I'm sure it had a substantial Sentimental value.
I'm imagining that he actually stashed the entire amount underneath his bed, and then his mom came in with a vacuum cleaner,
Right.
and like thousands of porn tags of videos came avalanching out from underneath his bed.
No, it was probably all on one zip drive, and she didn't know what it was and threw it in the trash. $30,000 porn zip drive. Dude, what is his relationship with his parents like, where he's like, you threw out my porn? I'll see you in court, motherfucker. Like, also at Thanksgiving, bye mom. Like, who does that? I don't understand. Also, okay, how old is this person? How long has he been putting together this $30,000
He is
collection?
he's the same age as me. He's 43 years old. I love this. His dad sent him an email. He said, "Frankly, David, I did you a big favor getting rid of all this stuff." But he did not agree, and he won this case, by the way. The judge followed the value set by an expert. Working's parents must also pay $14,500 to their son's attorney.
What?
Yeah.
So this guy rinsed his parents for almost 50 G's because he left his porn at their house?
Yeah. And they threw it away. And he was not... he did not frankly think that they did him a favor by doing that.
Clearly.
Oh, man. Andrew also shared a great story about a woman who had won a lottery ticket, and she's, excited, so she brings it into the store, and the clerk grabs it and runs down the street.
Bullshit.
So he can take it for himself.
You know what? That is a great story, but it's not the best thing Andrew brought us this week. The best thing Andrew brought us this week was the fact that he has purchased a Killer Clowns from Outer Space costume.
Yeah.
And let me tell you guys, it is fly as fuck. Like
it is.
I don't know where Andrew got that. If he bought it, it looks like from the movie, and it's terrifying. And I can't wait to see him wearing it.
I'm guessing I might be wrong, but remember when we went to Midwest Haunters Con? I know he had an eye on a Killer Clowns costume there.
Whoa, Andrew!
That he really wanted, so maybe he tracked that one down.
You guys should go to Haunters Con. It's something really special. I mean, whether you're just decorating or looking for Christmas gifts for your kids and parents, you definitely can find the severed head of your dreams there, and probably a costume like the one that Andrew currently has in his possession.
But he's gonna remember we did an episode where we talked about the clown panic of 2016. Andrew's gonna put that costume on and walk down the street, and he's gonna start the clown panic of 2021.
Oh, I really hope he does. I really hope he does. That'll be sweet. Give the kids something to look forward to. That'll be fresh. Good job, Andrew.
Yeah, and that's the real thing, by the way. It has its own Wikipedia page. The clown panic of 2016 was a string of people wearing clown costumes and trying to scare people, and some of them got a little carried away with it and were pushing people over and threatening people with axes and stuff like that.
Just kids being kids.
Right.
You got a little rambunctious. Oh, man. Back in the day. Do you remember back in the day in 2016, T, where the weirdest thing was happening? People got dressed up as clowns and got a little bit over enthusiastic. Remember that?
We thought we were in a really weird time then, and we had no idea just how fucked up things were going to get.
No idea. We didn't know.
So, okay. Well, it's great to be back. I miss talking to you every Tuesday, Heidi, and we got a lot of cool stuff happening in season 3 here, since we're in the haunting season now of fall. So lots of good stuff ahead.
That's right. We're gonna have so much fun. My gosh, I love spooky season. It's gonna be the best.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll see you all next week, and thanks for tuning in.
See you next week, friends.